I'm Ross Barry and welcome to Coast Community News April 15 COVID-19 update. Well, authorities appear to have been largely successful in keeping tourists away from the coast over the Easter long weekend, but a few local residents were fined for social isolation infringements. A 34-year-old Bateau Bay man was fined $1,000 for breaching self-isolation rules after returning from overseas travel. Another 30-year-old Wyong man, who had earlier breached a public health order, was fined $1,000 for being near Gosford railway station without a reasonable excuse. And then on Saturday afternoon, an 18-year-old man from Willoughby, who could not give a good reason for travelling to Avoca Beach, was also issued with a $1,000 fine. And now for the latest numbers from local district health, here's our resident driftwood expert, David Abrahams.
Thanks, Ross. Yes, the latest data from District Health, which is from 8 p.m. Monday night, is that there are 117 confirmed cases on the Central Coast, an increase of just 2 cases. That's down, however, from the number of 121 reported last week, and that's because some of the earlier reported cases were categorised as Central Coast cases, where in fact they were residents of other regions, diagnosed here, but who have since returned and recovered. And as shown on the chart, there's a total of 81 people that have recovered, and if our maths is correct, that means there's just 36 live cases on the coast at this moment, with only 2 of those in hospital. Gosford Hospital appears to have been successful so far in containing the cluster of 12 cases reported there over recent weeks. The postcode level data maintained by Patrick Spedding, who we spoke to last week, shows the highest concentration of cases is now in the Gosford 2250 postcode area. Notwithstanding the slowdown in new infections, the New South Wales Shadow Minister for Health, Ryan Park, has called the New South Wales Government to expand testing for COVID-19 here on the Central Coast. Mr Park said the region, which has the 5th highest number of cases in the state, has been declared by the Queensland Government as a virus hotspot, according to Mr Park. Anyone returning to Queensland from the Central Coast is being forced to self-isolate for 14 days. And Ross, on Friday, will have more to say about Between the Cracks, the local racehorse trained at Gosford by our very own Angela Davies, who won the $400,000 provincial championships at Randwick last weekend. Back to you.
Thanks, David. We'll look forward to hearing about that. In some sad news for rugby league fans, East Group today announced that it has decided to close Woy Woy Leagues Club permanently. The club was temporarily closed under the COVID-19 restrictions, but the group made the decision to close the doors permanently after a proposal to develop the site was rejected by the state government's independent planning panel. East Group Sports Director Brian Sampier said it was with a heavy heart that East made the decision to cut its ties with the Woy Woy club. East partnered with Woy Woy in 2012 during a period of financial stress and has struggled to get the club on a sound financial position since. Sampier said East Group would be working with both members, playing and non-playing, to find a new club, hopefully on the peninsula. He also said East would honour their commitment to contribute $20,000 a year over the next 3 years to the Woy Woy Juniors. Member for Robinson, Lucy Wicks, has provided some clarity around the new $1.6 billion childcare relief package announced by Prime Minister Scott Morrison last week. Ms Wicks explained that the government will pay 50% of the sector's fee revenue up to the hourly rate cap based on the number of children in care during the fortnight prior to March 2. That is, before parents began withdrawing their children in large numbers. She said there will be services to waive gap fees for families who keep their children home, and she encouraged people who had terminated enrolment to get back in contact with their centre and re-enrol their kids. Restarting enrolment, she said, did not mean people had to send their child to childcare nor be required to pay a gap fee, but it would hold the child's place open for when things started to normalise. And subsequently, the New South Wales State Government has also committed to paying for childcare facilities that missed out on the federal government's package, including council-run centres. And in news just to hand, we've just learnt that there's a rescue operation underway off the coast of Berkeley Vale for a person who has gone overboard from a bulk carrier, and we'll have more to report on that in our next bulletin. Now, please remember all these stories and thousands more are available on our website, which has a unique search feature on the homepage. And finally, for something a little bit cuter than the coronavirus, the Australian Reptile Park has introduced their latest family member, a new baby wombat. The park has commenced a competition for whoever can come up with the best name for this little fellow. That's all for today. We'll see you on Friday for 5 at 5.